Albert Bandura's Bobo Doll experiment. Imagine a child watching an adult behave aggressively. The adult punches, kicks, and shouts at a toy. Now imagine the child is later left alone with the same toy. What do you think happens next? This question was at the heart of one of the most famous experiments in psychology. It is known as the Bobo Doll experiment. The study was carried out by psychologist Albert Bandura in the early 1960s. Bandura was interested in how children learn behavior. In particular, he wanted to understand whether aggression is something people are born with, or something they learn by watching others. At the time, many psychologists believed behavior was shaped mainly by direct reinforcement. According to this view, children learn through reward and punishment. If a behavior was rewarded, it was repeated. If it was punished, it stopped. Bandura believed this explanation was incomplete. He argued that people can learn new behaviors simply by observing others. This idea became known as social learning theory. To test his ideas, Bandura designed a controlled laboratory experiment. The study took place at Stanford University. The participants were young children, aged between 3 and 6 years old. Each child was brought individually into a room. Inside the room were toys, including a large inflatable toy shaped like a clown. This toy was called a Bobo Doll. The Bobo Doll was designed to be hit and knocked over, making it ideal for studying aggressive behavior. The experiment involved several different conditions. In one condition, the child watched an adult behave aggressively toward the Bobo Doll. The adult punched the doll. They kicked it. They hit it with a hammer. They also used aggressive language, shouting phrases like "pow" and "hit him." In another condition, the child watched an adult behave calmly and gently. The adult ignored the Bobo Doll and played quietly with other toys. In a control condition, the child did not observe an adult at all. After watching the adult, each child was taken to another room. This room contained a variety of toys, including the Bobo Doll. The child was left alone and observed carefully. The researchers recorded the child's behavior. They noted whether the child showed aggression. They also noted whether the aggression matched what the adult had done. The results were striking. Children who had observed the aggressive adult were significantly more likely to behave aggressively themselves. They hit the Bobo Doll. They kicked it. They used the same aggressive phrases they had heard. Some even invented new aggressive actions. In contrast, children who observed the calm adult showed much less aggression. Children in the control group showed the least aggression of all. These findings provided clear evidence of observational learning. The children did not need to be rewarded for aggression. They did not need to be encouraged. They simply copied what they had seen. This showed that learning can occur without direct reinforcement. Watching was enough. Bandura also discovered something else. Children were likely to imitate the adult if the adult was the same gender as them. Boys were especially likely to imitate male models. Girls were more likely to imitate female models. This suggested that people are more influenced by models they identify with. In later versions of the experiment, Bandura added another important element. He showed children adults who were either rewarded or punished for aggression. When the aggressive adult was rewarded, children were more likely to copy the behavior. When the adult was punished, children were less likely to show aggression. However, when children were later offered rewards themselves, they could still perform the aggressive behaviors. This showed that learning and performance are not the same thing. Children may learn a behavior, even if they do not immediately show it. From these studies, Bandura concluded several key ideas. First, behavior can be learned through observation. Second, people do not need direct reinforcement to learn. Third, mental processes matter. Children actively think about what they see. They remember it. They decide whether to reproduce it. These ideas formed the basis of social learning theory. According to Bandura, learning involves four main processes. Attention. The learner must notice the behavior. Retention. The learner must remember what they saw. Reproduction. The learner must be able to carry out the behavior. Motivation. The learner must want to perform the behavior. All four processes are important. The Bobo Doll experiment had major implications. It suggested that children can learn aggression from adults. It raised concerns about the influence of violent media, television, films, video games. If children imitate behavior they observe, then exposure matters. Bandura argued that role models play a powerful role in shaping behavior. The study also had important applications. It influenced parenting practices. It influenced education. It influenced approaches to therapy and behavior change. Positive role models could encourage pro-social behavior. Negative role models could encourage aggression. Learning, Bandura argued, is social. However, the study was not without criticism. Some argued that hitting a Bobo doll is not the same as real aggression. The doll was designed to be hit. Children may have believed that aggressive behavior was expected. Others pointed out that the laboratory setting was artificial. Children knew they were being observed. This may have influenced their behavior. Ethical concerns were also raised. The children were exposed to aggressive models. Some worried this could encourage long-term aggression. Today, ethical standards for research with children are much stricter. Despite these criticisms, the core findings have been supported by later research. The Bobo Doll experiment remains one of the most influential studies in the history of psychology. It changed how psychologists understand learning. It showed that humans are not passive recipients of reward and punishment. We watch. We remember. We imitate. At its heart, Bandura's work teaches us something important. Behavior does not develop in isolation. It develops in social environments. Children learn not only from what they are told, but from what they see others do. So the next time you think about where behavior comes from, remember this. A group of children, a toy clown, and an experiment in the 1960s revealed that observation alone can shape how we act. That insight continues to influence psychology, education, and society today.
If you enjoyed our channel, please click subscribe.